we have some breaking news out of Arkansas, actually out of Tantytown, and it applies to Joseph Garrett Duggar, who is the son of Jim Bob Duggar, the younger brother of Joshua Duggar, and one of 19 children. And the news is that Joseph has been arrested and he is facing very, very serious charges out of the state of Florida connected to an incident that went down back in 2020. This all played out because supposedly Bay County Sheriff's Department says they got a call out of Tantytown that a certain Duggar had been confronted by a father of a woman, their young girl, and Joseph confessed. I do want to put a trigger warning in this content, just so that you know that if you don't want to hear about any accusations of SA or SA, you can click off of this video. This will contain some level of information that you might not want to hear. But to give you just a little bit of a backstory before we go into what he's facing, which is up to life in prison, Joseph was supposedly in Florida back in 2020 with his family. This was the time when the family went going to Panama City. Joseph would spend and journey with Kendra's family, so her parents, Christina and Paul Caldwell, and their kids, and they have several underage children. And they would often go to Panama City and travel with the Caldwells. I'm not sure if this includes the Caldwells or not, but it would have been likely on a trip with his in-laws. And this also, just to be clear, Paul Caldwell and Jim Bob had a big blowout in 2021 or 2022 when everything was going down with Josh, and Josh was either under investigation or had just been indicted, and this blowout occurs during that time. There was a huge confrontation about one of the boys wanting to court one of Paul's daughters, the daughter that's right underneath Kendra, only a couple years younger than Kendra. And it was James. And Paul said emphatically no. He didn't want any of his girls involved with any of the Duggars ever again. And this news was not met very fondly with James or with Josh Jim Bob. And this was really when Paul and the Caldwells broke ties with the Duggars not long after Josh was arrested that someone came forward to me and let me know that there was stuff going on with Joseph and another brother. And I'm not going to say the other brother yet because I don't know if this other brother will eventually get arrested. But I was specifically told that Joseph Duggar was engaged in behavior very similar to Josh Duggar. Now, my information actually came from a girl that was in their friend groups that had heard rumors, and there had been events while he was a teen before he even got married. And there was a relationship that he was in that got split up because something happened and nothing came forward. We thought maybe someone would come forward. Nothing happened. But here we are. And the whole time the Duggars and the sisters were praising Joseph as one of the good ones. And so people were hoping that, Joseph was one of the good ones. And he has been a brother that is very, very close to Joanna. He's also very close to Ginger. I'm sure this is going to be very devastating for them, but I think it's going to be most devastating for the young victim in this case. So Bay County Sheriff's Office in the state of Florida put out an announcement about an hour ago, and they notified the public that they had charged an Arkansas man with lewd and lascivious conduct with a minor, and that this all happened on It All Went Down yesterday, but it relates to incidents. That occurred back in 2020. And I'm going to try to read this with discretion so I don't go into too much information. And I don't want to get too graphic here, but they claim that they were contacted yesterday by a detective with the Tantytown Police Department regarding a report of past SA at the young person was 14, and they participated in a forensic interview where she disclosed several incidents involving Duggar that had occurred during a vacation in Panama City Beach when she was 9 years old. According to the investigation, they took place in 2020 while the family was staying at a home on Danny Drive. They claimed that he had repeatedly asked her to sit on his lap, and as the vacation continued, he would ask her to sit next to him on the couch and then covered them with a blanket. And that's when he did stuff to this young girl under the blanket. And she said that he finally apologized for his actions and stopped after the apology. But he said that yesterday, investigators found that the victim's father confronted Duggar about these incidents on March 17th, so yesterday, and that Duggar admitted his actions to the victim's father and to Tantytown police. He was arrested out of state and charged with a victim under 12, LWDW and lascivious behavior, and then lewd and lascivious behavior performed by a person 18 years of older. And he's currently awaiting transfer to Bay County. So, I did a quick dive in to see if he's in Washington County or if he's in Benton County, and he's in neither. I don't know where he is currently. He has no current charge in Florida right now. And because he hasn't been officially detained there, he could be in process. So, the way that this case goes down, it's a little bit wrong because it sounds like Bay County Sheriff's Office gets involved after the fact. And I don't know if the child in this case is from Florida or if they're in Tantytown as well. And I have some ideas of who it could be if it's in Tantytown, but in this case, just so you know, it wouldn't be anyone connected to the family. But it doesn't sound like this child is in Florida. Okay, so it sounds like most of the research happens in Tantytown. He confesses to the Tantytown detective, and based upon the confession, they're able to, probably Bay counties are able to establish probable cause, and so they can issue an arrest warrant for him, and then once they issue the arrest warrant, Tantytown can act on the warrant to take Duggar into custody. Okay. So, at some point in time, it's more than likely that Duggar is going to show in the Washington County intake roster for the jail. And at current, there's no name. Duggar is not in, has not been taken in at this time. They are currently about a few hours behind in bookings, and it sounds like this happened today. So he might still be in the process of being booked. So then what happens after he's booked and they have probable cause, Duggar can waive his extradition and he can freely agree to go to Florida and face his charges. And then if he doesn't, then there needs to be a warrant issued from the governor of Arkansas, which can slow the process up to 2 to 3 weeks. My guess is that Jim Bob Duggar does not want to create a spectacle here, because this is going to create a big story, and the last thing they need is Joseph to look like he's fighting, and since Joseph has already confessed, this shouldn't be too difficult. This is a different case, because if you remember, Josh Duggar denied. And you know what's wild, what's really troubling about the cult they come from is that these young men, they feel like, when they do something, all they have to do is apologize. And I don't know that they really understand the effects of what that means. So they think that as long as they apologize to the victim, everything is okay and it washes away what they've done. But that's just not how the real world works. And the Duggar boys have grown up in a very dysfunctional home with zero boundaries. And it's rampant in this family, and I feel for all of the children in this family. Joseph was meant to be one of the good boys. He was often looked as like the golden one of the golden boys, one of the good kids. Often talked about how polite he was and how kind he was. He was always like the doing father. He has, I think, 6 kids with Kendra. Okay. And this is a man that did this seemingly in front of other people with the little girl on his lap underneath a blanket. It's frightening. And whoever this father is, I commend him for addressing him. If it's who I think it is, it's deeply worrisome. There's a lot of hanger awards of the Duggar family that have really put a lot of their children in harm's way. And I do hope this is a wake-up call for the other families that continue to associate with them, because I don't think any child is safe around any of them. Okay, so what this means, obviously from a charge standpoint, Florida has really, really, really strict laws, and this is really serious. Okay, so he's facing a law 800.04, and it's when you are over 18 and the person is under 12. And this is classed as a life felony. So the statutory minimum of a charge for this is 25 years in state P prison. That's the minimum mandatory minimum with a maximum of life in jail. He can be fined up to $15,000. And if it's a split sentence, it can give the offender they must spend at least 25 years in jail, followed by probation or community control for the rest of their natural life. Now the second price is when you're over 18. So it's 2 different charges. This is a secondary felony, and that's up to 15 years in jail with fines of up to $10,000. Regardless of what he finally ends up getting convicted of and what the sentence is, he would be on the SO registry for life with this kind of charge.
If he were to be convicted as an offender, he would lose benefits.
So if he's if he's a public employee at the time and he used his position, he would lose retirement benefits. And in Florida, neither the victim's agreement nor the offender's ignorance of the victim's age can be used as a defense. And in situations like this, there are no statutes of limitation. The state of Florida I've never seen this kind of charge with this kind of life term. This is very surprising in a good way. I'm shocked, honestly. So many states have such lax laws when it comes to what they've charged him with. And if this is true, and if this is what he's done, a life term would be satisfying for me for sure. Keep him away from all of his children. So, here's more information, and it's very different how Tantytown is stating this. They just put this out 5 minutes ago. The Tonytown Police Department is aware of reported incident that may cause worry within our community. This event did not occur in Tantytown. Our officers helped the victim, the family, and the agency with jurisdiction over the case. Earlier today, Tantytown officers got a report of SA. During the initial investigation, it was found that the incident occurred in Bay County, Florida. Contact was made with Bay County Sheriff's Office. At approximately 3 p.m., Tantytown officers got a warrant from Bay County Sheriff's Office for Joseph Duggar, age 31. Officers nabbed Duggar based on that warrant. All questions regarding this incident should be made to the Bay County Sheriff's Office in Panama City, Florida. Tantytown Police wants the community to know that this issue is being handled with the highest level of professionalism, compassion, and diligence. It's so disturbing because they live in Tantytown, and up until a couple years ago, John Duggar was a constable for this police station. And the Duggars are so embedded with the Tantytown cops. They go and deliver them cookies all the time, and they're just always trying to chum up to these guys because I know that they know what they're doing, right? So their facts here are vastly less than what they put out. But it sounds like this arrest just happened 3 hours ago. So if that's the case, Joseph is still likely in processing and set to be booked in Tantytown. All charges will end up in Washington County Jail, and he will likely be in Washington County Jail until Bay County can go to pick him up and extradite him. Toddytown cops are just so disappointing. I mean, we're handling this with highest level of skill, compassion, and diligence. So, you have to tell everyone that you're not corrupt and you're not doing this, you're handling it compassive. They don't even say what he was charged with. They don't say that it involves a child. It's like Tantytown just wants to avoid what it's about because Jim Bob has friends at the tiny town police department. This is probably going to be a very moving case, and a lot of information is going to come out. So I'm going to leave this with you for the rest, and I will keep you updated as I learn more information. I'll let you know once he's been booked. Once extradition happens, and once I can get a copy of the charging papers, I will get a hold of them. But for now, this is just another example of the ongoing damage of the IBULP and the disgusting legacy of Josh Jim Bob and the whole Duggar family in the experiment of what TLC has done. And to anyone that's been affected by any of these boys, go to police. Go to cops. If you are one of the people that has been hurt, go to police. Don't let them get away with what I've heard has happened. So, what are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed and click the bell so you never miss a video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye, besties.